What is everyone? Welcome to the Nerd On Update, the weekly show where we talk about the stuff in the news that excites us. We also answer your questions. But first, Tom, how are you? How you been?
I'm good. Before we were just in the green room and we were talking about Kingdom Hearts. And there's something I really enjoy about talking to people who have not experienced Kingdom Hearts with, or people who have tried to talk to get into Kingdom Hearts, and just like
into the lore and stuff.
Like I really enjoy when it goes batshit crazy, because I enjoy when anime things do that, because it's like, this is so dumb and this is just made up gobbledygook that's like this doesn't mean anything, but then it's so funny to say like there's a key that opens up a place in the sky which has a lot of hearts, and then you can harness those hearts so that you can then access the real Kingdom Hearts. And then everyone's just like, I hate this. I like seeing the threshold that people have. I'm like, all right, well, we're done.
You see them just like I did, where I just trailing off, like, all right, and you lost me.
Yeah, so I enjoy that because, one, I like being a lore keeper in some sense. I mean, how am I doing?
The director enjoys keeping stories and lore. What a concept, Tom.
Crazy.
What a concept. Way to break the mold.
I know. My car got broken into this past weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I've actually been talking to a lot of different peoples in my life, and a lot of people who know and follow the show know me, that I've stepped away from like social media in not in a huge way, but in a sense of like I don't keep up with it. I don't like to connect through there. I like to text or call. I try not to be on it as much as I can. And, slowly, I was doing that for mental health reasons. I wasn't in a good place and I stepped away, and now I'm in a better place. I'm still working on some things. And, I was slowly like, okay, this is, I think, about time for me to like kind of come back. And I was like, all right, let me start posting a little story here and there and showing like what I'm doing here and there. And then bam, my car got broken into. I was like, this is it. This is the reason why. It was like, you getting too hot, Tom. You can't be doing this.
That's what it was.
So I was just like, I should just not be here. So maybe this is the sign.
The sign you needed.
So that happened, and I got upset, and my entire Sunday got taken away. Corey, you know how it is when car things happen. Your day is gone. Your day is just, I have to worry about this, because if I don't worry about it, then it's gonna be a problem later on. So in order for me to like take care of myself. Corey was so cool, Mr. Oh, look at me, I'm nice and talented, everyone likes me, I'm a good father and a good husband and a good brother. My name's Corey. Pulled fucking really cool cards out of the new March of Madness Commander Supreme Returns packs that I was like, man.
Wait, this one's waiting for you, Tom.
And I was like, man, maybe I should pull one. And then I pulled one and I got an Omnath Locust of All.
There you go.
And I was like, is this a good card? I'm like, I know people like Omnath, but I don't know if it's good. I usually when I see a card, I'm like,
Do you like Omnath?
I like how he looks. Question. He looks dumb and giant. It's kind of like when Lex Luthor took over Wally West's body in Justice League, where he's like, I'll finally figure out who this man is. Takes off his mask. I was like, I have no idea who this is.
I have no idea who this is.
I look at him like, this is a shiny card. I have no idea what this is.
Yeah. So no, it was cool. I got a Trax and a Jin Gataxias, so no complaints there. But yeah, man, that's unfortunate with the car thing. I've had a few friends who've had their cars broken into, and I think and had specifically like gym bags taken.
Yeah.
And it's a target.
Yeah, and I'll say this to everyone. I appreciate everyone in the chat. Johnny Horror, Mamba, how you doing? T-Dog. Everyone's being very kind about what happened. It sucks, and it costs a lot of money. And the thing is, it's really hard to deal with it on a Sunday because most of the repair shops are closed. But I'll say this, and this is something like, this is 100% a privileged thing to say, but it's important to acknowledge your privileges. I am not in a terrible financial place right now. So like, if anything, it was very annoying and it just sucked up the day. Like, so many more worse things could have happened. Like, my car was locked. It was in my car park. Like, at any case, like my car could have been like stripped down, could have been on bricks. My catalytic converter could have been gone. Like it could have been totaled. Like there could have been like human feces in there. It could have been way worse. Like all my stuff.
Sleep in my car once.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. Like all my stuff could have been ripped out. Like all it was my gym bag with my boxing equipment, which was like, oh, that's unfortunate and that sucks. It's really annoying to replace that and to make the cost and do the file, the claim, all that stuff. But like, it could have been so much worse. And the fact that like I'm able to handle it in a way where it's like, cool, this isn't super devastating to me, like just makes you a little bit more grateful. Like, hey, it could have been worse. If it was for someone else, like that could have been completely devastating. So like you know, just always kind of count your blessings in that sense. So
yeah,
I was able to drive my car to work. So, you know, there's that.
There you have it.
Yeah. How's everyone in the chat doing? How are y'all doing? Happy Monday. Corey, how are you doing? What's going on, man?
I'm good, man. Tired, catching up on a lot of editing, which has been really nice. It turns out when you have a 1-year-old baby and you are the spouse that doesn't have guidelines for when you have to work, your work kind of gets put aside sometimes, which is like totally fine because you got to take care of the babe. But it's been nice this last week. We've put in some effort to make sure I'm getting these things done, and it's been nice to have an hour or two during the day to just kind of focus up on that. But other than that, man, I'm good. I'm looking forward to playing some more Commander hopefully this week. I have some meetings in the first half of this week, tomorrow night and stuff like that, but I think Thursday night I should be able to get out and just have a night off, which will be pretty sweet. But good, man. Juniper and I had a whole day together, so that was cool. Yeah,
for everyone in the chat, there is a non-0% chance that I might have to come a little late for Thursday stream. I think I found the game I want to stream, but I think I want to get a Commander game. And I've asked Corey, I haven't played a lot of Commander games lately with the squad because I've just been working nonstop. My job, like...
I can't remember the last time I think was at Guildhall like almost a month ago.
Yeah, I even today, I got off work at like 7 o'clock. So I had to like jam here, get everything ready to go, and then go live. So like... You know, life, how do you have to balance it? You know what I'm saying? Everyone knows what I'm saying in the chat. You know, this isn't your first time here.
We'll make some content out of it, Tom.
Content.
We'll stream it from from the location.
Are you laughing when you saying content?
Games. Yeah.
At my office, some people say content because we work on a TV show, and my assistant knows how I absolutely abhor the use of content. Everyone in the chat, remember this. Tom hates the word content because it's just so... whatever. And to Corey's point, to Corey, it is absolutely what we make. It's content because it's for the internet, so it can go viral and can be clipped around X, Y, and Z. But like, what we make are short form game shows. You know, they're like, hey, you're watching a challenge game show of what we do. Or I've been telling Corey, I've been threatening to do a fucking cooking video, and that would be a cooking show. You know, it's not just look at this content. It's like, what? I like to listen to content. A fucking book, a podcast, a song. What is content?
I sent Tom this clip of Eminem talking about it. Someone was like, you know, you've had content since day one, and he's like, man, sometimes it's like, what the fuck is content? What is it? What do you want me to say? What is that? And I sent it to Tom, and I was like, so you got company, my friend.
I mean, me, him, David F. Sandberg, we out here, man.
If you come out on Thursday, Tom, that'll be a treat. That'll be a real treat.
That'll be content. What is it? I don't know. It's a treat.
Let's get into the show a little. It's just the two of us again.
It's just the two of us, but we got a clappies.
Yeah. So this is Steve's.
This is content. Everything. And so the reason, I said I echoed content, not because I have ADHD, because apparently what I heard is that a common thread with people who have ADHD is they sometimes echo things that they hear. But every time someone says content, I was like, content. It's just like oh god, good old content. Good. We got a clap from Mamba, Brad, and Johnny Horror. Any more claps we're waiting for? I mean, we gotta get a whole squad clap, so a whole stream clap. You know what I'm saying? That could be a funny blurb that we do a redeem thing. All right. Well,
the clap.
Do you?
This is the clap.
I like this clap.
There it is. Okay. Do I what? Tom?
Emotional damage.
Do you want to go
Should we
first
go
or
first?
me?
Yeah, because mine's more discussion based anyway. Because there's not much. I mean, I want to hear your thoughts. Is really what it's coming down to. I was browsing the internet the other day, Tom, as I do, and I come across this image of what looks like a cross between Spiderman, and one of my favorite X-Men of all time, Kurt Wagner, Nightcrawler. And it turns out that there is going to be a series that's following, we've had House and Power of X, and that's been going on for a while. Those storylines have continued through about 5 or 6 different series. And now we're getting a new one where they're going to explore basically what different X-Men are up to with the idea that they're crossed with other superheroes. Tom, before we started, you said you had some thoughts, and I'm like very eager to hear these thoughts that you have.
So it's the Uncanny Spider-Man, right? I think it's a cool blend of the Uncanny X-Men and Spider-Man. Spider-Man has had Superior Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, and now I said Superior. That's the first one. That's Dan Slap, baby. And now all new, all different. But now we have Uncanny, which is Kurt Wagner, right? It's going to be Nightcrawler. It's
a 5-episode or 5-book limited series. Yeah.
So the first thing I saw, first of all, I think that's just a kind of cool evolution of Kurt, who's like, I have to, become more of this vigilante. I mean, I feel like now people who keep up with the comics, not saying you read every issue, you keep up, but you just kind of have a finger to the pulse, and you're kind of I see the big strokes of it all. Nightcrawler hasn't been I wouldn't say he's not a team player, but he hasn't been super associated with X-Men for such a long time. He's been I'm doing my own thing. I'm out here. If anything, I'm outside, spreading the gospel of what
part of Kitty Pryde's
the Marauders. Spreading the gospel of hey, us mutants, we stick together, we look out for each other, and we can seek peace and harmony amongst Homo sapiens and other beings of this earth. Never really all right, team, let's go fight the Brotherhood. It's all right, I'm out here, I'm doing my own thing. And so it's cool to see him oh well, now he's gonna go out and take that even further, becoming a hero of certain parts of New York, because again, Marvel Universe sucks and every hero needs to be in New York because they can't, it's just imagine every hero in DC being we're in Gotham. And it's the fuck, how bad is Gotham? Everyone's in New York and at Marvel. Anyways, but that being said, my main point was, my thought is, it's really weird that Nightcrawler has a mask and he's got his tail out still. Yeah. And I'm just
and his toes.
But I'm like, homie, who you think you hiding from?
It's a symbol.
Maybe, but you could just have the spider right there. And I'm your tail's out here. You're not. Yeah. It's to me, it was the first time we saw.
Well, it's in the suit, right? Yeah.
It's in the suit, and I was just what? Why?
In the suit.
And I mean,
ears.
It's you can call it a spider crawler or night spider or something like that. I'm that's kind of cool, but call it Uncanny Spider. I'm but we all know who you are. There's only a few people who have tails like that and fingies like this. And
yeah, that's true.
So I'm just I don't know what the point of the mask is really, other than it also it's who are you here to protect? All the mutants, everyone knows who mutants are now. So that'll be interesting to see how they kind of go about is it on the nose, or is it going to be addressed at all, that it's not really if you're able and that's one thing I really enjoyed about the X-Men Evolution series, which Corey, you weren't too big of a fan of. Because it was everyone in high school, and Kurt had this hologram, and he had this hologram thing that allowed him to look without his mutation showing. He could still use his abilities, but he just looked some Caucasian kid with blue hair. And I thought that was cool and innovative to tell the story of the X-Men in the Bryan Singer-ish world of Spider-Man, of X-Men. But I don't know. That's my only thought.
I'm
That's my only
interested
thought.
to see what's going on. I know that I'm gonna do this as spoiler free as I possibly can. I know that they there's the Hellfire Gala.
Hellfire Club?
No, it's a series. It's
Oh.
a 2-part series
Nice.
called Hellfire Gala, and it's going to in quote, I'm going to quote this here, leave the X-Men reeling as it starts the series called Fall of X. So I'm assuming that's maybe why he has to wear the mask, but I will have to wait and see. I'm very excited for this. I just love the look of it. I think it's combining two of the best heroes I can think of. I think Spiderman and Kurt Wagner together is just like it makes sense to me. So that's my news, and I'm sticking to it. How much you got?
So my bit of news, I don't want to say it's slow or anything like that, but like this may not be super big and impactful for most people. But Megaman Battle Network Legacy Bundle came out this past weekend. For me, that's a big deal. For me, that was what really got me into liking Mega Man as a character. I was like, blue guy shoots things, I don't care. I had Mario, he jumped on guys, he shot things with a fireball. I had Dragon Ball Z, they shoot things all the time. Pokemon, I can catch things. Like Zelda, he's got a sword. It's like Robot Boy, I'm like, who cares? I still see your face. You're not really a robot. Like there's nothing more special about you. And because I didn't also appreciate platformers and also like appreciate the competitiveness of like different games. Like I never cared about like Crash Bandicoot, until I realized like, oh man, this is part of like a legacy, or like Banjo-Kazooie, because I'm like, oh man, these are all like these characters and stories and games that kind of like expanded the platforms and genres of games they were in.
I've been playing through GoldenEye recently, which came to Xbox.
No, yeah.
Awesome.
They also have, I think they might have it for Switch soon too. So that came out for Switch as well as Steam, I think. You can get the Legacy Bundle, which has every game. So 1, 2, 3, which is 3 is white and blue, 4 is red, sun, blue, moon, 5 is Colonel and Proto Man, 6 is like Beast and Birdman. I don't know. They got, after a good point, I was like, this is a lot. This is a lot.
That's wild. I have to tell Kyle about that.
But I absolutely adore those games. And Corey, I think I talked about it, I try to pitch it to you because like it's turn-based ish for Mega Man, but like so you can walk around the world, so it's like diagonal view, so you walk around the world, you can jack into like the internet world, jack on, jack off, I don't know. But then like once you battle like random encounters, you have a 3x3, a 9 grid, and your enemies have a 9 grid, and you have to just navigate through, and you have all these chips you load out, so you can build like a deck of like chips you use to have weapons, but then you can RPG your Mega Man, and like as it gets leveled up, you can increase like how strong its buster is or how much HP it has, and then obviously you get the Mega Man stuff where like if you beat certain characters, you get their abilities, and you're just like, there's so much shit. I don't know, but I
really cool actually.
I enjoy it, and the music is so like it's that perfect chip tune, but also like that amalgamation of like this 64-bit era of like, man, they really got the pixel art so good in this. So I enjoy it. I love it. It's out now. You can buy the bundles, so you can do it like 1 through 3 and then 4 through 6. I just bought the full bundle for like $59. I was like, I have to have this. I have to own this. I was playing it on ways in some methods that are not likable.
Totally legal.
Yeah.
Methods.
But now,
you wouldn't recommend.
now I could do this the supported way that I know if anything goes wrong, I can just be like, hey, homie. That came out. A lot of people are excited for Tears of the Kingdom trailer. So a lot of Nintendo stuff happening. Despite no E3s happening, of course. But my whole bit of news kind of comes to a head with this last topic I'll bring up, which is a pretty big topic for people like me and Corey who give a shit and also are like still paving our way through this crazy industry. The WGA had their vote today to strike or not, and they have authorized a strike by 97.85%. So wow. As we continue going further in this, like, I guess, new age or this era of like film, TV, entertainment industry, strikes, as well as like the unions that make up all of the moving parts of the industry, all have to re-up contracts and make deals with the studio. So it's like, imagine for someone who is not familiar with this stuff, is like, big organizations like studios, and then they represent themselves, and like producers represent themselves, writers represent themselves, and the changing tides, as us as consumers are constantly trying to figure out, like, where do I go? Do I do streaming? Do I go buy a theater? Do I just watch TV shows? Do I just, like, how do you do you bootleg? Yeah. Like, all those things have to be in consideration, as well as, things change, and certain like departments get folded into new departments, and then they impact the world in different ways. The fact that the internet is around and people could watch things on their phones changed everything. Like, it completely changed like how communication, contracts, residuals, everything. It's all categorized, and how it evolves, and how like, there are some shows who are just being completely translated, like, to be revived into Snapchat shows, like Reno 911, right? Like, they came back as a Tubi show. No, Tubi? Yeah. Quibi show. Quibi. And then Quibi failed, and then so Comedy Central had to retain those rights back and bring it back in, but they were all shot in the vertical format. So it's just crazy. Yeah. So the Writers Guild of America authorized a strike, and for most people who may not be familiar what that's like, all scripted television goes halt. So the biggest kind of example I always like to talk about is, like, do you wonder why Heroes, the show, had such great promise, and then why no one talks about it anymore? It's because the first season happened before the strike, and then every season happened during this weird long up and down period of the strike, and then they struck, and then they stopped striking, and they struck again. And so the original team who was there to write there to write Heroes, like, had to go on strike. And it's not because, like, so if I'm part of the Writers Guild, like, I'm represented by agents and managers and all this stuff. Yep. And if we choose to strike, we kind of say we're letting go of all that stuff, so that the studios, whatever kind of people we need to do new deals with, can re-up all of our contracts. And last time there was a strike at this scale with the WGA, it was a lot with the agencies, because the agencies wanted, like, let's say I'm an agent and I'm Corey's agent. We wanted, so it's like, I find Corey the project and I put him on it. Now I get a producer credit. And so it became this weird, like, the agents all wanted these produced serial things, and then that would end up being written in contracts. And then so end to end, I'm a producer, even though I didn't really touch a thing, and all the work is going to Corey. And then also, like, the studios were accepting that, and then, like, cool, we're now going to bring you in as, like, I am the Lionsgate studio agent guy, and then I bring in people, and now I'm also an agent for each project I bring writers on. And so it kind of started taking away too much, like, credit from the writers, and also, like, it just became this weird, like, one pocket in, one pocket out. So now I'm not 100% sure exactly what the big kind of like contention is for this one, but the fact that we have such a high vote turnout, as well as, like, a resounding yes. The tough thing that's happening for people who are writing for TV are pretty much looking to not be employed. And you're like, okay, so a whole lot of writers are going to be writing, and then you would be thinking, oh, young people like me and Corey, we're young, we're still young, could be like, oh, this is our chance to strike. The tough thing is, the moment I write something and I submit it to, like, HBO, they're like, cool, we'll take it. Now we are going to be on a network television show. Now we need agents, and then now we have to be part of the strike. So it's a weird defeatist kind of thing. But the best thing that people can do is, like, I have projects, let me show you what it is, and then producers or execs can be like, let's put you on retainer, and then we'll figure this all out at the end. And then they want to work with, short-term people. So it is a chance to be opportunistic. But the second thing is, like, oh, okay, cool. So a bunch of writers don't write. Now yuppies can come up. But no, if all scripted writing ends, all the shows don't go on. So producers don't work, and editors don't work, and cinematographers don't work. And everyone doesn't work because all those scripted shows are on hiatus. And so
how MTV died.
Yeah. And reality shows began. So
Yeah.
that was the illuminating thing. Was like, oh, that was the birth of a reality show. Because it was all unscripted, and I currently work on an unscripted show, even though there are some scripted portions. So it's like it's all how it's classified and clarified. It's in a way, it's like 1 degree less confusing than the market than the stock market. So it's wild, it's crazy. So just if I can implore people who watch the show and listen, just keep an eye. What's happening with your TV shows? What you're paying attention to. Maybe you keep your head under the sand and you just watch what you want to watch or take part of what you want to take part of. But if you are someone that like is a connoisseur and like sees like, oh, what shows are going on or what shows are not going on? It's like, what happened in this show? What happened in that show? And if a show maybe 2 years from now has a dramatic change, just know like, hey, maybe that could have been the thing. So it's always interesting when like I always say it's knowing like the ecosystem of the ocean, and you're just like, oh, that affects this and that affects that. And it's like you never really truly know how everything works, but you're like, oh, like I have my fingers in that, I know what that means, but I have no idea what's happening on this coast. So, and yeah, that's it's a crazy time. It's a wild time. It's something that's been talking about since like the beginning of December last year. And it's got a lot of people, if you're in the know, you're in the know, but a lot of people have been talking about it, and a lot of people are like really trying to find jobs and stuff like that. So it's also a tumultuous time in Hollywood. So that concludes all my news. I feel like I had a lot.
The news, baby.
I feel like I had a lot to say.
You didn't. You just. I mean, yeah, you did have a lot to say. I was gonna say I had a lot of news. You didn't. You only had a couple of subjects, but it's important news.
Oh yeah, no. And to me, I was like, oh, there's nothing to talk about. I was like, oh wait, fuck, the strike's happening. That's a big thing to talk about.
Plus Megaman.
And Megaman, but some I was like, I could talk all day about this, but do people want to hear me talk about it? But anyways, so. Now we move on to the second half of our show, which questions, where we answer questions from you, the audience. And if you would like to be part of the show, ask us questions, also support the show. The number one way to support us, I see we had some new subscribes, some resubscribes. We had T-Dog8282. They've been subscribed for 19 months. Thank you so much. It really does help us just keep basic online hosting and allows us to kind of market things and test things out. Like
us to make stuff like our new Commander videos.
Yeah, that you could check out on our YouTube. And I have a new resub from Bad Reprint. They've been subscribed for 40 months. So I think maybe the big streak is, I think, 40. Thank you, Bad Reprint. So if you can, check out our Patreon for as low as $1 a month. You could support the show directly, and you get put into this secret, it's not so secret, it's a secret Discord, aka none of the other non-Patreon members of the Nerd On Nation could see this server that you'll be part of, and there's a part for questions where you can just put it there, and you get put in the front of the line, and then we answer your questions immediately if we can on the show. That's right. And you can do that at nerdon.tv/Patreon. In the chat, they got it in the links on there. And then also, if you want to send us your questions via email, if you don't want to join any Discords or anything like that, you can go to questions, nerdon.tv/questions. And then you could just send it through there through a form. But if you do want to be part of the community, have conversations, talk about what you love being about, like what you love having your nerd on about, or just lurking around, or hang out to some of the green room stuff if you're part of the Patreon. There's a lot of stuff that you can enjoy and just kind of, just get your, find some new,
part of it, baby.
Be part of a community, play Framed, learn about movies that you've never seen in your life. But yes, you can answer questions like this one today. I think this is a first-time question we've got from Jose Cipher.
Shout out.
Question: what are your favorite adult animated shows? Now it says, what are your favorite? I want to say we should do 3. Top 3 adult animated shows. And I would say adult as in they have death, sexual conduct, and or drugs.
Okay. That's a good question.
I love this question.
Do you have answers already?
I probably do. Let's do number 1, Boondocks. Wonderful show on Adult Swim, talking about black culture and about these kids who came from the hood with their granddad and now they're in an affluent Caucasian neighborhood, and all the kind of like hood traps in there, but also like it's a really good commentary. There's satire, there's parody for sure. It's one of my favorite things that, you know, for in many ways kind of shaped how I viewed comedy. And also you get to see Samuel Jackson portray a white guy, and it's great. A white guy conspiracy theorist.
And Charlie Murphy.
And so many good people. Second one. Right now, probably Cyberpunk Edge Runners. There's a lot of sexy stuff. It's bright, neon bright lit, and it's violent like The Boys and Invincible, but also like at its core, it's dealing with like Parasite level like disparity and plot that you're just like, shit, it's such a rough show. And then adult animated shows. I mean, obviously I could do a bunch of anime, right? I could do a bunch of anime, but we all know that I'm gonna do some stuff for variety. One in particular that I think I really, I like it, but there's not enough of it for me to recommend it, so I won't use that. I mean, I think for the last one, I'll probably say adult animated show. Adult animated show.
The Cleveland Brown show, Tom.
I'd have to say, I'll probably say Futurama.
Yeah.
I'll use Futurama. I think it's a travesty that they're going to come back. Obviously, they want to make their money, sure, but also it's like, you ended it so fucking perfectly. Why the fuck?
So Futurama is my first one.
Okay.
It's the only one I had going into this. I've had to Google a few more just to jog my own memory about what's the difference between like an adult animated show or an animated show I liked as an adult. Like, loved Adventure Time and I loved regular show, but those aren't adult animated shows technically.
But they're all shows you watch after 11.
Yeah, or like Flapjack, not an adult animated show, still on a kids channel. It was during the daytime and stuff like that. So Boondocks is a great answer, by the way. Venture Brothers was one of the ones that got me early into like adult animated shows. Probably my second choice. And then for my third choice, I'm gonna do like a really, I was going between a couple. I'm gonna pull a Josh here and sneak in two other answers.
Oh, I got more answers too, but yeah.
Okay, I was going between stuff like let me just say this first and then we'll list a few more. I'm gonna say this, do I want to say this is my actual
Space Ghost
answer,
Coast to Coast or Sea Lab 2021?
Space Ghost, damn, that's a really good one. I didn't think of that.
Home movies?
No, it's not home movies. I love home movies. It was between Metalocalypse, which I just love Metalocalypse so much, and I think it's coming back.
They're going on tour, I think.
That's what it was. But I think it's Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh, Aqua Teen Hunger Force is so good.
I think that has to be. It was between those two. There's other stuff that I loved that are probably a little more niche. Like, I don't know if you ever watched Frisky Dingo.
Oh yeah, I know Frisky Dingo.
Yeah, okay. There was only like a season or two of that, but it was like the precursor to Archer.
Yeah.
Essentially. Which Archer, another great adult animated
South
show.
Park.
South Park. I know Mikey's gonna kill me. I didn't say South Park.
Good. I mean Squidbillies. I mean anything on Adult Swim, I was there. Which actually makes me really excited for there's a new Superman animated series on Adult Swim that's going to be on Adult Swim. So I'm like, only on Adult Swim? That means that shit might get violent. I'm like, that shit might be good. And Jack Quaid voices him, which I'm like, that's an interesting take.
Oh.
Yeah, and he doesn't sound bad. He doesn't sound bad. And it's very like, classic, 90s-ish looking Superman. I'm like, okay. Because even like the current comic version of Superman doesn't look like that. It's interesting, and the animation looks pretty good. I mean, I also love Genndy Tartakovsky's Primal. Yo, Primal, and then the new one coming out, Corey, with it's the like swords and sorcerers shit like that. Genndy Tartakovsky, he is on the next level. He is on another plane of existence. Primal, y'all. Everyone, just if you care at all, just check out one episode of Primal, and you'll know exactly. I'm like, this is what Tom wants out of movies. Where it's like.
Called My Adventures with Superman.
Yeah. And then Arcane. Arcane's a really good one. Arcane's really fucking good.
So I'm gonna ask, does Bob Burgers count? I don't know. I guess so. Family Guy and Bob's Burgers, I would say, are in the same category. And that's
Oh,
definitely
Family Guy
like-
for sure counts.
Adult Swim's just wholesome though. Like I feel like it. What is it rated?
Woo? Bob's Burgers?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, isn't it daytime? Bob Burgers. Bob's Burgers, American sitcom, is rating.
PG-13, so I wouldn't say it is.
Yeah. You want TVMA.
Yeah, you want like BoJack Horseman and
Yeah.
like, they're doing coke and stuff like that.
Yeah. It can get there, but no.
I'm surprised you didn't say Harley Quinn.
I do like Harley Quinn, and I interesting enough, like during the shutdown time, I stopped watching. I just stopped watching. I didn't get back into it. And I really liked it a lot. But like, Primal, so
Primal
good.
took the space.
Primal.
So-
Not one line of dialogue in like
We need
a
to
season.
You know what, Tom? I think you and I have to do like a mini podcast episode about Aqua Teen
Yeah.
because it was just such a like. It's just such like a. I don't know. I have a. lot
You're a
to say about
Frylock guy, right? You love
Master Shake.
Master Shake. This
I
fucking.
fucking love Master Shake, dude.
I'm Carl. Carl's such a
okay.
piece of shit.
I loved Frylock, but I love the Shake's voice is probably like it's up there
It's
with
the
John
delivery.
H. Benjamin for me, where it's just like inherently funny voice. But I like all of them.
Rice chicken, rice.
Meatball, go.
A
Man, I'm
rice
looking at all
chicken.
these on here too. Love, Death, Robots.
No, that's very good. That's very good. It's pretty good.
That counts as animated, I guess.
It is. It's animated for sure.
Castlevania.
Oh
is
yeah,
on there.
Castlevania.
Castlevania's really good.
Castlevania's really good.
I don't know why I don't talk about it more, but Castlevania is really good. Invincible.
Invincible's because Warren Ellis is a not a good man.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Castlevania.
Castlevania. Yeah, Castlevania. He created the show. And it's like, oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Beavis and Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead.
King of the Hill.
Celebrity Deathmatch.
Oh, dude, Celebrity Deathmatch.
Celebrity
It's been a long time since
Deathmatch.
I heard that. Robot Chicken's up there too.
Robot Chicken.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of great. We're living in a good age of. I mean, I think the best age of adult animated shows was like the early.
Oh yeah.
teen-
I mean, I
2010s.
really
all
love.
that time.
I really love like the first few seasons of Rick and Morty, and outside of Justin Roiland's like questionable, if not 100%, just not legally terrible pass. It kind of like started like once I got to Rick needing to go to another planet to take a dump, I was like, this is getting a little crazy, a little like too much of like we're in our own shit. Although I did love the Prestige episode. That used to be like one of my favorite. Like that was a good moment show for me where I needed to cope with a lot of things. And I just watched that show. Move on to the next question.
Yeah.
All right, so everyone who was in the green room, they know I said this. I threatened this. I said, I'm gonna Corey so hard. I'm gonna Corey on this show so hard. And this is all love. Corey, you have to understand. This is all love. There's all love.
Yeah.
There's all love. There's all love. But Corey, we made a short film on Nerd On called The Thief of Joy.
Yeah.
And people may not know this. I got the title because Corey would always not rag on me, but he would gently remind me, comparison is the thief of joy.
Sure.
And so it really struck me when I was writing this thing, and I was just like, what am I saying? What do I want to do? And I was like, I really want to like have that open conversation of this character who's like this, and then that character's like that, and they're both kind of comparing each other's lives, and give people who are usually in those two worlds that moment that are a thing for them to interact with and watch and enjoy. You can't. There's something I really liked lately. You can't be what you can't see. And I think if people saw that people who are conflicted can find harmony in a good thing, that even if it's not pretty and it's not like ba-dun-dun, you could still try. And I come with this entire backstory because I'm also fucking like Corey's girlfriend, where I had to give like a 45-minute story so I could shit talk for 5 seconds. And say, this next question is from Lady Lion. The question is, do you like waffles? And Corey's answer is, I do, but every time I eat waffles, it makes me just want to have French toast. And
Is that my answer?
And yes, and I think about this because I immediately read this and I was like, it's just like if I fucking said, do you like Nutella? It's like, I do like Nutella, but it makes you just want to have peanut butter. And I'm like,
That's
Corey,
how you're feeling. That's how you feel with waffles.
no, that is you feel with waffles.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure you think. I think you think French toast is the top, then it's pancakes, then it's waffles. Is it French toast, then waffles, then pancakes?
Yeah.
And
pancakes are the inferior, but yeah, I would say French toast is.
and I'm just like, and for me, I was just like,
but I have a specific love of waffles. I don't like Belgian waffles. I think Belgian waffles can take a hike. I think it's too much space.
It's spanking time.
They're not crispy enough. They're too fluffy. I like the diner waffles that are like the small squares that are like thinner and crispy, and you can fill each of those squares with syrup and butter. So every bite you get is the correct ratio. The problem with the Belgian waffle is these big squares. You take a bite, all the syrup and the butter comes out of the square. You can cut along the grid on these tiny waffles, and every bite you get is the perfect ratio.
That's how I felt about Eggos for a long time.
Yeah, it's probably why I went out one morning, Tom. We had a waffle maker. It made Belgian waffles, and I needed these waffles so bad that I woke up and chose that day that I was going to go buy a waffle maker so I can make waffles that morning to get the small, crispy ones. And now I've got the recipe fucking down, Tom. I got it. You know what the secret ingredient is? Cornstarch.
Oh.
It crisps everything. It's wonderful. Anyway, what was the actual question?
Do you like waffles?
Fucking love waffles.
You know what you could also do? And I don't know if it's 100%. Might try it. Might fuck your shit up. Soda water.
Yeah, I'll try that. Yeah.
Apparently, yeah,
Awesome.
it makes the batter more airy and more crispy. Second
I
thing,
believe that.
what
about you?
did you not have the chicken and waffles when we went to Hal and Ray's?
No, I didn't.
Because their Belgian waffles are legit. I would say they're
There's an exception to every rule, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that is the best Belgian waffle I think I've ever had in my life. Because I agree. If not every bite is the same, I actually I'm playing with this animated movie that I want to do, an animated movie which I've never done, and it's all revolving around this mythological perfect bite. And I was like, oh, this is really fucking good. Yeah, if your fucking waffle doesn't have all the bite that you want, you're like, what the fuck's the point? But this Belgian waffle from Hal and Ray's, they're like towers. There's like a fucking cave of wonders inside. It's so tall, these Belgian waffles. I was like, these are amazing. So you can put a little bit of butter in that one.
Yeah.
They're and it's only you see it's only 4 squares. You're like, this is giant. So answer is yes, I enjoy waffles. The thing is, I like waffles a lot, but I've eaten so many more pancakes in my life that it's very hard to be like, it's like distracted boyfriend, where it's like, pancakes, you always been with me. How can I do you wrong? And I think of waffles, like, damn, I really like waffles. But I also look back at old girl, I'm just like, man.
I think here's the thing though. I think that the quality consistency between waffles and pancakes, I think there's a larger discrepancy with waffles. I think it's way easier to get a bad waffle than it is to get bad pancakes.
True. I would agree to that. I used to go to International Pancake Day all the time at IHOP, and you know what? I would eat 20 pancakes, and
I fucking love IHOP.
I do too. I enjoy IHOP diner nights.
I don't think there's people are like, it's local. I'm like, no. Look, first of all, I have a kid now, so we're about to eat there on Wednesdays for free with her, so that's good. But also, like you said, Tom, it's been there for me. Anytime I've wanted a pancake at 2 a.m, I could go get it, and it's wonderful, and it's consistent.
MX Raph in the chat, he knows a lot of good IHOP nights. That was just a weird thing, not even a weird thing. It was just a standard tradition where it was we go out, we have fun, we drink, we watch a movie, we go to IHOP. No matter what we do, go to IHOP at the end of the night.
We had the same. Well, we talked about this before. Mine was the hangover at we'd wake up at 5, dehydrated, go get chicken fried steak and pancakes.
Country fried steak.
Go back to sleep for 4 or 5 more hours. You know what I mean?
So good.
That was the marathon.
So good.
Good question.
Thank you, Lady Lion. Good question. Do you like waffles? The last question of the pre-selected questions. Now, everyone in the chat, this is the time for you to start putting in your questions now, so I can then copy them, and then we can answer them after this. The next pre-selected question is from Ethan Who. Speaking of waffles, assuming brunch is not an option, are chicken and waffles more of a breakfast food or a lunch food?
Oh, good question. Feels like lunch to me.
Lunch. I would say lunch. Yeah, as much as because the thing is this. There's sometimes I don't want to have dinner for breakfast, but there's no wrong time to have breakfast.
Sure.
So you can have the breakfast food for lunch.
You know what catches me up? And it's funny having said the guy just saying I just had a deep fried steak for breakfast, but the fried chicken is what's throwing me from like being like, this is absolutely breakfast.
If I could...
I did just say I used to have fried steaks for breakfast.
But we're now in our 30s. If I could...
with the breakfast gravy, you know?
If I could... Yeah, you gotta have the white pepper gravy. Yeah. The biscuit gravy. If I could not have any of the physical side effects from it, I would have fried chicken for breakfast every day of my life.
Yeah.
Every day. Yeah. You guys don't understand what fried chicken does for me as a human being.
It's Tom's love language.
I'll show you. I'm going to post a picture on the food Discord. So everyone go check out the Discord, join the Discord, join the Patreon, $1 a month. You're going to see a picture on the food channel, and it's going to be who I want to be. And it's just a grumpy, crazy looking Asian dude with a suit, bucket of fried chicken next to him, and a cigar. And I'm like, so I'm Charmander. That is Charmeleon. Hayao Miyazaki is Charizard. Like, that's who my final form will be.
I say this only half joking, but this is actually a very real thing my wife and I do. When we plan a party, we consider Tom's bringing fried chicken when we count, like, do we have enough food? We'll be like, we have this, Tom's gonna bring fried chicken. We have this. It is part of our rotation. He is never disappointed.
Mama didn't raise no bitch, and I don't come in empty-handed. No. I don't come in empty-handed. I respect my space.
Considered enough to bring gluten-free beer for my mother-in-law, which is very, very sweet.
Yeah. You know, and and to me the thing is, if the moment you say yes, bring something you'd like, and I was like, I got you. I know what to bring. I'm gonna bring all these little options. Cool. Now with that question gone, and
questions from the chat, please.
Questions from the chat. I got one already. Okay. This was the first question we actually had. It's from T-Dog8282. Who is the great grump guesser, gator guesser, supreme guesser of last year?
You want to know what? I started.
Ooh.
I started.
Who's in the lead at this moment? Who's in the lead?
It's me.
Okay. That's for sure. That makes sense.
There's not many episodes. We're gonna get through it.
Corey hated everything.
I did. I guess so.
He was like, I hate everything because all my love's going into my pregnant wife. It's
not fast color.
Okay. Next question. That was in 2022. Fast color was in 2022.
No, I'm just saying it's not fast color. I don't like it.
Next question is from 1992 Johnny Horror. Question for the day. On Skyrim, I found a mod that you can have a fox character that I made, Disney Robin Hood. So the question is, what is your favorite mod on any game?
My favorite Disney movie, by the way.
That's where Corey, got his persona on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Persona.
You can't see the thing is you can't say spirit animal, right? Because that's appropriating indigenous culture. Yep. So you say persona. But we all know what I meant by persona.
Yeah. You're more the mod guy than I am.
Oh, I mean, I've done some stupid mods. I unplugged myself like Corey does. So Left 4 Dead, right? There's Left 4 Dead mods. You could do Teletubbies or the zombies. You could do a sandwich, which is the witch. You could do everyone's a velociraptor. It's pretty great.
Everyone's a velociraptor.
Everyone's a velociraptor. It's pretty great. And then the gun is actually the character you're playing.
Oh, nice.
So it's you could do really stupid mods on Left 4 Dead, which is great. I mean, mods just kind of help the game have its lifespan. But my favorite mod would probably have to be Civilization. In Civilization, you play as world leaders. So you play as Gandhi, George Washington, Queen Elizabeth, all these people. And, you know, you're setting up your civilization and you're the same guy. So you're just an immortal god of a leader. And depending what kind of person you picked and with theocracy, all this stuff you do, changes your tree and your progression charts. The mods you could do for Civilization are, I am Doctor Doom, or I am T'Challa of Wakanda, and then you could have like Wakandan units. But one of my favorite units I made or I had was I was Lelouch v Britannia from Code Geass, and you start out with one end game unit of a mech that has nuclear bombs. And so you're just unstoppable from the very beginning. And Corey has said it in a way, and I always think about this too when I play a video game. Sometimes you just want to god out. Sometimes you just want to be like, I could destroy everything, or I could just, nothing matters and I'm flying through the world, you know? You just got to have that moment every once in a while. So
you do. Mine, I'm going to call back to one that used to be a cheat code that they've implemented now, which I'm actually very excited to play. I just got the Spiderman game for PC, the one that was from PlayStation that is now ported over. Very excited to start it, but there's a mod that I downloaded. I'm not going to turn it on yet, but you can be Stan Lee, swinging from building to building. And this was, I think, in Spider-Man 2, like originally on the Nintendo 64, that there was like a cheat code where you could be Stan Lee, and it was like you would swing around as Stan Lee. And so they put this back into the new game. I think that's a wonderful mod. I
think they. I'm always really disappointed in racing games that don't let you have the Batmobile.
Sure.
I'm just like, that's such an easy, or like a DeLorean or something. I'm just like,
seems like a really easy thing to have.
And like I miss, and what was the other game? So Saints Row, right? Saints Row did the I'm GTA, but even more crazy. And I'm like, they need to like. Video games, I feel like, should embrace that more. It's like, hey, you could break some of your, like, what's that called? Fourth wall, the suspension of disbelief. We'll just put in some fun game shit in there. I know it takes some time to license and stuff like that. And maybe that's why the mod community exists, but that's so good. That's so good.
It's so good.
I mean,
good question.
There's Foos Road off farts, right, for sure. I got it. So this is a question from T-Dog. Says, this is a large question, so take some time to think of your answer. What are 3 scenes that exemplify your favorite anime? Oh, I know one for Corey immediately. For me, it's One Piece. The burning of the Going Merry, Luffy punching the Celestial Dragon, and Zoro saying nothing happened. Okay.
Yeah, Tom knows right off the bat. You gotta know. Yeah, I wasn't finished speaking from Kenshin. I think it's episode 1. He just puts the guy through the roof for interrupting him. My second favorite of the themes, let's see, that exemplify your favorite anime. Another scene that exemplifies. That is a tough question. Like, what are the key points of the anime? I mean, there's the. I don't want to spoil anything now that it's not 20 years old. But I think. It's towards the end of the arc.
What are you talking about?
When he's fighting, I mean, it's a big bad. He's fighting.
Shishio?
Yeah.
Let's do it. It's old.
Yeah. I mean, when he finally goes all out, realizes he has to finish him and uses the Amakakaru Rihu no Hirameki and just goes ape shit on him. And because he's losing the entire fight.
He says, homie, let me start trying.
Yeah, he's like, I forgot, I'm not left-handed. I'm trying to think of one more.
Oh, 3 scenes from the same anime. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm like... Because otherwise it would have been like, oh, you know, when Fiero loses his fingers and Bakano. It's also been a while since I've watched it.
Someone get a fire extinguisher. I'm just riding fire right here.
Are you done?
No.
All right,
no.
you go. Oh, okay.
No.
Next, buddy. Then I got to think of my third one.
Oh. 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 This is good. This is a good question. This might be the last question just because it's a longer one. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, fire. They're all from the same character.
I'm excited. It might be when Kenshin fights Saito, when Saito's trying to see if he's ready to fight Shishio, and he just like pushes him to this to reawaken the Batosai in a sense, because you also get to see how badass Saito is. Oh. Saito's so cool, man. I feel like Saito's probably your favorite character in Kenshin.
Saito is.
He's this guy who always says.
Oh, the Shinsengumi. The fucking wolf? Fuck yeah. I mean, I really like him because like all he did was just lunging attacks and just break the ground. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
And I think he almost beat the shit out of Kenshin the first time they fought, right? Aoshi Shinomori like almost got him. And he's always just he Vegeta'd so hard. He was like, I'm gonna get your ass.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then Shinsengumi's like, I'm the lone wolf. I was supposed to get your ass. Okay. Ready for me?
Yeah, I'm ready. I think those are my 3 moments.
I'm
gonna have to watch the series again. Now we're gonna
have to watch the series again. We all know it's that Dragon Ball Z, baby. It's that Dragon Ball Z. Any underdog out there in the world who just needs that dog in them to fight, to grit their teeth down, and and even if you get beat up, there is no one who's got the dog in them as much as Vegeta. Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z got the most fire quotes out there, like, put away his utensils, he's cooking. You know what I'm saying? So first one, Android 19. Android 19 coming in. Trunks came in. He's like, yo, I'm from the future. These androids coming in, they going to kill all of you. It sucks. Goku, you're about to have a heart attack. It sucks. And then everyone's like, okay, let's all train.
Sent me a great video of Piccolo.
Oh, dude, it's so good. It is so good. Oh, it's so good. It's probably my favorite, like, TikTok-y thing. Androids come in and like Piccolo, everyone's like, oh my god, we trained and we're still not strong enough. And then Goku's like, okay, it's my turn, I gotta go Super Saiyan. And he's like, oh, my heart hurts. Android 19 starts whopping him off the floor, just kill him, just sweeping him up, just mopping him up, just whop, just hit. It's amazing, it's crazy. And then Goku's down for the count. Vegeta comes in, kicks him in the face, and he's like, yo, I'm a Super Saiyan, the sleeper has awakened. That's a baller line. But there's a moment where they're fighting, and then Android 19 and Vegeta are in this crater. And then Android 19 absorbs people's powers. And then so he grabs Vegeta thinking like, I'm going to absorb his powers. I'm going to win. And Vegeta's like, oh, really? And then he climbs up on his face. And so there's feet on Android 19's face. And Android 19's still holding on to him. And Vegeta says, tell me, does an android like yourself ever experience fear? And it's the most cold line of all time. He's like, this guy just asked an android if they feel fear. It's so badass. Next scene, Majin Vegeta arc. Come on, man. And so this is the part where Goku.
I like that they said what exemplifies the whole anime as a whole, and you're just like Vegeta.
Vegeta all day, every day. You don't get like. First of all, you don't get Vegeta without Piccolo. So like
sure.
the villain arc and redemption arc, but like Vegeta just always being like, I am the most powerful. I should be the most powerful, and he never is. But then like he just like comes back. He's like, I've been practicing saying this all day, and then he says it. And Majin Vegeta, and so Goku's like, Vegeta, why would you let Babidi take over? You never let anyone help you before, so why now? And then Vegeta says, I wanted him to return me to the way I was before. I was the perfect warrior, cold and ruthless, never held back by foolish emotion. And it's just like the most badass thing, because all he wants to do is like, he got embarrassed because the guy that he's been enslaved by, Frieza, killed all of his people. He was the last of his kind, and turned into like some chump, some henchman for this guy who has just been nothing but ruling over him. Made his dad look like a chump, and he was like royalty. He was brought up to be this like pompous, egotistical kid, and got it all taken away from him. And then now he had to live with like, oh, now I have to like literally live underneath my like enslaver. And then out of nowhere, he's like, it's my destiny to bring the Saiyan race back to its, you know, former glory. And then out of nowhere, the guy that he like out of nowhere comes in, like, I was on a job and I was supposed to do this thing, takes that glory away from him. And so like Vegeta's never ending struggle to like, I should have been the one to do all these things, but this common person did it. And that's like the beauty story of Dragon Ball Z. It's not about like being special or anything. It's about always trying hard and working hard. And Vegeta always ends up being like he is royal blood, yet he always trails behind because it's just the ethic. But his character is developed such a good way. And so much so, this next line in this scene is in Dragon Ball Super. And this actually is still with Vegeta. And it's really cool because it's actually, you know, we all know the voice actor for Vegeta is Christopher Sabat. And then the voice actor for Jiren is actually the voice for Endeavor in My Hero Academia. So they're still beefing in other animes. Wild. So it's pretty funny. So Jiren's like this big bad in the like the Universal Tournament arc. And Vegeta now is at this like new form, Super Saiyan Blue evolved. And Jiren says to him, it's like, you fight with arrogance. And it's like, you think greatness is something you're entitled to. And then Vegeta laughs it off. And, you know, that's the thing about Vegeta. He's all egotistical. He's like, you say that like it's a bad thing. That's called pride. That's my Saiyan pride. And then he says, I used to fight for the thrill of the hunt. I had the strength unmeasurable. And then it shows all these times that he used to be this ruthless guy, but now he's different. And now he still has that fight in him, but now he fights to protect his people. And it's so in the next arc they have for Super, it's so good because it's like it actually talks about like how he has the weight of like the Saiyan race on his shoulder and all the terrible things they've done, and that shouldn't be his responsibility anymore. And it's like, oh shit, real development for Vegeta. And then he's like, and then there's a part where Goku attained this new level, and then Vegeta's like, I can't do that. That's not my style. I'll get power a new way. Then I was like, we're doing it. No more Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, you know, it's like, now it's like, oh, he does that form. He does that form. I'm like, oh, this show is growing. Anyways, those are mine.
Back to that moment you talked to me about where I think they're about to fight Goku and he's just been in the chamber the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm talking about? There was some line you're always talking about. They're like, yeah, we've been training like crazy. Like, oh, have you been?
Oh yeah, they were in the hyperbolic time chamber. This is during the Cell arc, and so Goku and Gohan just leave, and Vegeta and Trunks are like, "Oh shit!" They came out, and they're just Super Saiyan is normal now. They're like, "Oh shit!" And they're like, "But I can't sense their power level." And then Vegeta's like, "Oh, I have to go back in, blah blah." And if that's the case, then you guys, you know, might as well not. And then Goku's like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go back in at all." And he's like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "You obviously know that we're against this, blah 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 blah." And then Goku's like, well, you know, there's such thing as overtraining, but, you know, if you feel like you need to just to make yourself happy, then go ahead. It's like, I know what you're it's like, don't take me as a fool. I know what you're insinuating. You're saying you think you're implying that you're strong. It's like, oh, I wasn't implying. And it's like, it's silent. Just, ooh, they better kill each other right now.
The thing I love about Vegeta and Goku is that Goku isn't trying to be a dick. He just is very point blank with things.
Oh yeah, no, he's
simple guy.
He just wants to fight. He's like, oh, the strongest? I want to fight him. That's really cool. Yeah. Vegeta's like, I have to be the strongest. What the hell are you talking about?
Goku is fight sexual.
He is fight sexual.
That's great.
But that's
good question.
That was a long, good question.
That's a very good question.
I know that there's questions in the Patreon. We will save those, and those will be the first questions that we answer next week. Thank you, everyone. Corey, was there anything else we want to add before we wrap out?
No.
All right, y'all.
That's it.
Let's go
check out our Commander episode. We're hoping to do more of those.
Yeah, thank you. Check that out on YouTube. Give a comment. The comments actually make a huge difference. So drop a comment. Just say you like it, don't like it, love it, whatever you want to do.
Feedback too from our Patreon on it. I can't wait to implement those as well. So thank you guys for that also.
Yeah, and if anyone's got any suggestions to raid, thank you everyone so much for tuning in, taking some time out of your night, getting that Monday news. We really appreciate it. We obviously would love to just talk about the news, but also we find good ways to try to include you guys and have conversations with y'all. That's why we like doing the little green room thing and the Patreon, so that we can hear some questions that you might want us to throw out or talk about some topics that we haven't heard about yet. But if we are done, who do we want to raid for the night? B-Rad, you always tend to have like a good suggestion. Do you have anyone tonight?
Bosco's on. But if there's any suggestions from the chat, we'll take those.
Who's Bosco?
Over anything. Edward Bosco.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Edward Bosco. We'll stream Edward Bosco. They're playing Blitz the League 2.
Yeah.
Check them out. The raid word is Corey sent us.
Corey sent us. Thank you.
That's the one. We're gonna start that boy. Everyone, take care of yourselves. Thank you for tuning in. Pick a niche game and see if anyone's playing it. That's what I do. Oh, okay.
That's what we should do next time.
All right,
smart.
Cool. Everyone, take care of yourselves. Thank you so much. Continue the conversation in the Discord. Without further ado, you know the drill. As always, nerd on.
Nerd on.